Hey, welcome. If you've ever had that crazy, uncontrollable urge to move your legs right when you're trying to fall asleep, then you know just how maddening restless leg syndrome can be. Well, today, we're going to look at a fascinating new way of thinking about what might be kicking it off, and more importantly, how you might be able to find some relief.
For so many people, this is just their nightly routine. That weird, creepy-crawly feeling, sometimes it's even painful, and the only thing that makes it better is moving. It's such a strange paradox, right? The one time your body is supposed to be completely still is the exact moment it's screaming at you to get up and move.
And this is a huge, and I mean huge, problem that's often flying completely under the radar. It's estimated that a whopping 90% of people who are dealing with restless leg syndrome might not even have a diagnosis. They just figure, well, I guess this is just something I have to live with.
All right, so before we jump into this new idea, let's do a quick refresh on that traditional view. What does the established science usually say is causing all this?
So officially, RLS is on the books as a neurological disorder. The main theory for a long time has pointed a finger at the brain's dopamine system, the system that helps manage muscle movement. The idea is that something's not quite right there. This is the classic, brain-first explanation for why those legs just refuse to settle down.
And, the common treatments really follow that line of thinking. They range from things like lifestyle changes to dopamine-related meds, but you also see physical things in there, like massage, and that focus on the physical side of things, well, that's a really important clue that we're going to circle back to. But now, there's a new hypothesis that's suggesting a huge shift in how we think about this. Or, at the very least, it's a really powerful addition to the story. It doesn't say the brain isn't involved, but it does ask us to look somewhere else for what's actually pulling the trigger on those nightly symptoms.
And this is the big question, isn't it? What if the brain isn't the only culprit? What if the problem is that the brain is getting these constant, irritating signals from the body itself, specifically from the way we position our legs when we're trying to sleep? This one quote kind of reframes the whole thing. The new idea here is that people with RLS don't just have a single issue in the brain, but that their entire nervous system is highly sensitive. It's like it's on high alert, and it overreacts to tiny little signals that most of us would never even feel. So that leads us to the million-dollar question. If the system is so hypersensitive, what's the thing that's constantly poking it, night after night after night? Well, the answer might be way simpler than you think. And this is where we get into a possible biomechanical trigger. It turns out the hidden problem might just be the way our bodies interact with a totally flat mattress. I mean, think about it. Our legs aren't flat planks of wood. They've got curves, they've got contours. So when you lie on a flat surface, you get all these unsupported gaps under your knees, around your ankles, between your legs. A flat mattress just can't fill in those spaces and support our body's real shape. It's such a simple but powerful idea. We're not built like Legos, We don't have all these perfectly flat surfaces and neat right angles. Seriously, if our legs were shaped like blocks, a flat mattress would be the perfect solution. But they're not, and so that flat surface forces our body's really complex design into a kind of unnatural alignment for hours and hours every night. So all these little unsupported gaps, they create this constant low-level mechanical stress. It's like your ligaments, your tendons, your joints are being gently pulled and strained all night long. Now for most people, no big deal. But for a nervous system that's already on high alert, that steady stream of irritation is the trigger. So if bad alignment is the problem, then it makes sense that good alignment could be the solution. And this is where something called positional therapy comes into the picture. And you can see the difference so clearly here. On the left, where it says mala, which means bad, you see the tension that comes from that unsupported posture. But look to the right, where it says buena, good. You can see how supporting and aligning the joints just releases all that tension. The whole goal is to find a neutral position that gets rid of that stress. So here's what that looks like in the real world. If you're a back sleeper, just putting a cushion under your knees can let your lower back relax, and it takes all that strain off the joints. It just helps you maintain a much more natural, neutral posture. And if you're a side sleeper, it's pretty much the same logic. A cushion between the legs stops that top leg from falling forward and twisting your hip and lower back. It just keeps everything lined up nice and parallel, which cuts down on pressure and strain. Okay, so let's pull all this together. What does this new hypothesis actually mean for you if you're the one struggling with RLS every night? The logic is actually super straightforward when you lay it out. Step 1, you start with a highly sensitive nervous system. Step 2, you add a constant low-level irritant, which is your poor sleep posture. The result? RLS symptoms flare up. So it follows that if you can remove that irritant by getting proper support, you can potentially calm that whole system right down.
And let's be absolutely crystal clear about this. This is not about ditching your doctor or stopping medical treatments. Think of this as another tool in your toolbox. It's a biomechanical approach that's all about targeting those physical triggers that can set off your symptoms. It really gives you a practical, hands-on way to take back some control over your sleep.
And that really leaves us with a final, and I think pretty empowering thought. For the millions of people who are dealing with restless legs, this new way of thinking suggests that, yeah, the condition is complex, but a piece of the solution might just be hiding in plain sight. It could be in the simple, physical alignment of our own bodies while we sleep.